Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. This is a great opportunity for all of us to learn astrology, but also to better understand the coming cycles of the new year. We're now 9th of December 2023, ahead of 2024, meeting Key Tyler. He is a practicing astrologer, Kundalini yoga instructor, and writer. Over 7 years of experience giving expertise to a wide range of publication and social media platform. So Key is a digital nomad. We couldn't find a particular specific geographical um, rooting place for the wild spirit. And indeed, her website is astrologyinthewild.com. Thank you, Key. All
Thank you,
yours.
Maurice. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you to Sean and our previous presenters so far. It's wonderful to be here together and to create hope with one another. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we can get started. So, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Again, my name is Key Tyler, and today I'm giving a talk on Jupiter and Saturn cycle in 2024. I titled this Learning to Walk on Water because I do believe that in the end of this cycle, we will feel a little lighter on our feet and maybe feel a little deeply more connection to our faith and our hope because things have been quite wild lately, right? So briefly, we'll talk about the Jupiter-Saturn cycle. The conjunction happened in 2020. We already experienced a sextile in June of 2023, and that will repeat again in February of 2024. And then we'll talk briefly about this square of August of 2024. August of 2024. So, if you remember the Great Conjunction, December of 2020, this was a really tumultuous time. We were all being sent home. The vaccine had just come out, and we were really just sitting down in front of our computers and on our phones, using our minds a lot. And when Jupiter and Saturn came together in Aquarius, it brought an upgrade. It brought a refinement to our lives, and it asked us to make our lives better. And when they came together, it birthed a new cycle of 200 years worth of conjunctions in air signs. So every time they meet up in 20 years, they will be in an air sign. And this actually happened in 1980 as a precursor in the sign of Libra. And CNN launched, and also the Iran-Iraq war began. So we see social media, excuse me, not social media, but we see news broadcasting changing, and as well as turmoil between lands. When Jupiter and Saturn comes together in an activation, it really wants to shape new beliefs. We start to develop new social structures within our networks, things like the internet, issues of humanity and leadership, and really it gives us a push towards advancements in science. So with 2024, we're bringing important thresholds about our interconnectivity, our sovereignty, most importantly, and kind of picking some new role models that have better ethical references, better people that we can look to. With this activation of air, we're looking for lighter loads, we're looking for practicality, and we're looking to use high mental input. Right now, Saturn is in the sign of Pisces, and so this is a water sign, and with it brings restructuring boundaries and dissolving them. And there's a need to understand order and structure from a global and spiritual perspective. And that just means what can we do? What does this all mean in relation to everyone else? What's outside of us? How can we care about things that are more than just our personal advantages? There's one thing here, though. There's some risks. There's role models and structures that are weakened. There's a lack in solidity and an absence of tangible references to turn to. Neglect can ensue. So we're starting to see that water and earth combination with this of kind of being in muddy waters and really looking for new advancements in the way that we treat each other, in the way that we look at our resources. So Jupiter is in Taurus right now, and it represents our resources in the material realm. And that's everything from money, food, physical needs, searching for a physical manifestation of coping for life. So, we could be consuming a lot, buying a lot of things, or as most of us are experiencing, not being able to do that very much anymore because everything is so expensive. So this really has the purpose of bringing meaning to our resources. What are the most important things to us, and how can we really cultivate and protect those things? And it teaches us that simplifying our lives is amplification of our life. So when we pull back our spending, when we pull back those things, it uncovers to us what really matters. So I wanted to briefly talk about the sextile events of June 18th, 2023, because they're going to echo what we'll experience in February of 2024. So if you remember, the Titan submersible implodes, it kills 5 wealthy men within minutes of the excursion. Um, so this is a balance between, wealthy individuals and the battle between water and, deep sea exploration. Uh, a couple of other events that happened. The U.S. Supreme Court rules 5-4 decision that the U.S. federal government is not obligated to secure water access for the Navajo Nation. And this is quite troubling because if you know anything about the Navajo Nation, then you would know that they truck their water in and have to clean themselves with bottled water on occasion. And the resources are very slim. So it's quite disheartening. And SAG and the Actors Guild went on strike at this time to receive, of course, their wages for, the streaming services and writers' credits. But on a more positive note, some really great things did happen. Estonia passed a bill to legalize same-sex marriage and same-sex adoption. They were the first post-Soviet Union to do so, which is a wonderful thing, changing beliefs and allowing people to kind of live their lives more naturally. The Grammy Awards gives kind of some structure around AI. They say, hey, if you're a contributor, a creator, you are allowed to use AI as long as a majority of it is yours, which is kind of great because there's some great artists out there who are using AI to their best benefit. Not all of it is this evil, diabolical plan to take over our lives. It can be used constructively. Chile and London both declared to have found fossils to 2 new herbivorous dinosaurs, which I found was fascinating. 2 different kinds, 2 different places. And the United Nations created a high seas treaty. It was the first treaty aimed towards marine conservation and in the international waters. So we can see that while there's, tumult through wars and disagreements, there are other things that come about socially that kind of give us some solace and give us something new to look forward to. So, I just wanted to give briefly some morality and evolutionary intent around these two meeting together in Saturn in Pisces and Jupiter in Taurus. And so, we're really being exposed to and becoming a victim of greed and excess. We're seeing it all over the world through different social media posts. We're seeing the Gen Z generation, they're being scammed just as much as the baby boomers, but they're being scammed for more money. And it's towards things that they shouldn't have to worry about. A job, for instance, or purchasing something simple online. We're realizing that we can't buy our way into a better life. And so, we've got to stop buying ourselves into debt and choosing quality over quantity. The evolutionary intent is to expand and dissolve beliefs around our endless resources, around sustainability and the practicality of living a spiritual life. So, harmonizing the spiritual with the material. And that just plainly means spiritual life is anything outside of you that you can care about, that you can give yourself to. And so, one question you could ask yourself is, when you're feeling like these things are very intense for you, what can we do to adopt a more global view of what's happening? Are we able to help one another in different ways? Are there new social situations that we can get into, that we can start connecting and creating new networks with? So, the sextile that we'll be running into on February 6th on this day, but I'm sure that you're feeling it now, seeing these elements now. And so the similarities between the two dates, June of 2023 and February of 2024, is that the sun will be in an air sign again. Mars and Venus will be conjunct. So we're using this logic with the sun in an air sign. We have Mars and Venus conjunct, which is kind of creating something brand new. And with Mars and Venus being her focus on the nodal axis, um, there could be some more hopeful things that we can look to, while also seeing some breakdown of particular items socially. And again, they're meeting at 7 degrees. So if you have 7 degrees in a mutable sign, you could potentially be a little more affected than the rest of us. So there's some possible results with this. Could we have legislation and new regulations to be passed during this time? I do see that there's going to be some social changes and some new leaders stepping into the limelight. And I say this with presidential candidates because Obama in 2007 came into the presidential elect. He was this wild card. He was this gregarious, hopeful Leo man who came to kind of show us a different form of leadership. And we weren't really expecting him. So I'm kind of hoping for, maybe some different people of value that can offer some things for this election coming up. We do see some new breakthroughs in traditional science. There might be some more information about the things that have, happened within the past couple years, if you know what I mean. And I see there will be more advancements in the stabilization and use of AI, as we saw with the Grammys. So February, important month, as Hannah previously mentioned, it's a very great time for reinvention. And another important time is the square that will be coming up August 20th of 2024. That is when Jupiter will finally be in the sign of Gemini, and it's bringing logic and our critical thinking together to really make a bang. The purpose of this challenge, the square is a kind of creative challenge, not impossible, but could be great, is coming to a balance of faith in life and trust in the world, because your reason is the North Star. So the definition of reason is the power of the mind to think, understand, and form judgments by a process of logic. And so ways that we create this balance is discovering new things about your life. If things feel dull and stagnant, it's time to go with the wind. Discovering new sources of information that rely on truth and not speculation. What we don't want to be is scared into submission. We want our sovereignty. We want the truth. And so I beg of you to look towards new sources of information that seem reputable, especially with this upcoming election year. And practicing discernment with the multiplicity of new spiritual paths, leaders, and religious motivations. I have seen reports of, the next upcoming religion is going to be Islam. Islam is projected to be the largest religion by 2070. And I find that very interesting as we're watching the things that are happening and realizing what spirituality and faith can give you. So again, election year for 2024. So we've got to be careful for deceptive information and unethical uses of knowledge and information, which we did experience in 2016. And so, just some food for thought. All in all, I just want to say that 2024 brings hope. And I think through Sean's presentation, he clearly represented that with the tree. That even though these breakdowns that are happening personally and in society are happening around us at a rapid rate, it is really creating a sense of resiliency within us, creating lighter physical loads, burning things down and kind of giving us just the things on our back. Um, and when these things come together, they have the potentiality to breed and birth new teachers, new rational responses to challenges in our lives, and incremental changes in social reform. So just doing your best with where you can fit. And thank you very much. Again, my name is Key Tyler. My website is astrologyinthewild.com. You can go there to book a reading or learn more about me. And I have a YouTube channel that's pretty fun. It's Astrology in the Wild and Key. Thank you so much, Maurice. Thank you, everyone. Blessings for 2024 and Happy New Year.
Many, many blessings, and thank you for an incredibly thoughtful presentation. I
Thank you.
think definitely a lot of food for thought and interesting, about the belief systems changing for sure.